Hey, good morning, cadets.
Good morning, sir.
It is my absolute pleasure to welcome the Commanding General of U.S. Army Cadet Command, Major General Davis. Sir, on behalf of Lieutenant General Caldwell, the President of Georgia Military College, welcome and thank you so much for attending today. We look forward to your insights. Cadets, prepare your questions and get ready to take notes from this leader. Sir, it's all yours.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir.
Well, I'm so excited to be here, and what a great opportunity it is. I had to take the stairs a little slow since I did PT this morning. You know, and they didn't care. I said, hey, I'm in my 50s. They said, sir, keep going. But I want to take this opportunity to say thanks to everyone for a wonderful morning so far. President Caldwell, sir, it was great to see you, and it's a wonderful opportunity, and I will get into it, but it's leaders like that and their investment and our future that has led me to the position I am in today. So for all of you, well, I also want to thank Colonel Nelson Craft, Colonel Steve Pitt, Russ, thanks for the intro. I think Sergeant Major Chastain and Craig Thompson, Brigade Commander, Command Sergeant Major, 1st Brigade. Just want to thank them for being here too. They were out there with me this morning as well, so I wasn't all that bad. Hey, my name is Johnny Davis, and I'm a military junior college grad, and that's a big deal. And I want to share that with you. And why do I say that? Because each and every one of you have the opportunity. I was once like you, I wouldn't say many years ago, but some time ago, and I chose the path to serve our nation, and I'll share some of my journey with you. What a historic and beautiful campus, and I came in last night, had the opportunity to drive around, but it was such a wonderful opportunity to be here. And I've been to so many different campuses, and I'm just so impressed with our future men and women. What a wonderful opportunity. And this is, I think, the 143rd Corps of Cadets? Oh, that's exciting. Now, having been a military junior college grad, I know that there's certain sayings or stuff like that for each school. I think when I was a new cadet, I was called a rat. So what's a new cadet named here? All right. Well, that's good. But could I give you the rest of the day off? No. Nobody's jumping on that train, huh? I'm sure I could. But let me share a little bit about my journey. I'll share just some advice that I can impart to each and every one of you, and what I've learned in my journey, and what has gotten me here. So, grew up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Anybody from Wisconsin? Oh, we got a few. Yeah, I'm a cheesehead, but there's, growing up in Milwaukee, attended, a lot of big Lutheran grade schools in Milwaukee. My father was a high school teacher, taught at the same high school for 40 years. Started and retired from the same high school, Riverside High School, and then I went on to Wisconsin Lutheran High School, which is not far from a few miles from our house. And then spent a lot of time with my grandfather. Grandfather was a World War II vet, young private in an integrated unit during the Battle of the Bulge. And I will tell you, he has had a profound impact on me as I worked with him on his garden, and he talked about his service. Even though he served, he left home and didn't come home until the war was over, like many great Americans during World War II. But he has never forgotten that experience. And came back to Wisconsin, worked in another job for 38 years, and then he retired. But he never talked about that job. He talked about his service to his nation, the friends that he fought alongside, and all of the men and women who have had an impact on him. And he certainly had an impact on me. And he says, hey, you ought to look at, serving the nation in some capacity. But I probably recommend you pursue a commission, try to be a second lieutenant. I didn't even know what that was, but he said, try that. But that's what I did. You know, finished high school, Wisconsin Lutheran High School, 1987, and really didn't know the path forward. So I, applied. I think I saw a little brochure in the high school counselor's office that says ROTC, scholarship. So I said, hey, I'll apply, but I didn't make the cut. It's tough. To receive a four-year scholarship. So I needed another path. And back then in the 80s, when you wanted to pursue college, you would put your name on the mailing list, and then you would get these mini brochures in the mail. And I think I got hundreds of them. So one of them caught my attention. It was New Mexico Military Institute in Roswell, New Mexico. And I said, hey, that's pretty cool. And on the brochure it says, hey, we'd love to, if you're interested, we'll fly you down. I said, whoa, no other school's done that. So I said, okay, let me do that. So that's the first time I left Wisconsin, departed, and on I think 3 different flights all the way to Roswell, New Mexico, and showed up there, and just had a wonderful time. I spent 3 days with the cadets, and then on the backside of that week, the Army then flew me to Fort Knox, Kentucky for U.S. Army Cadet Basic Camp. And I thought, okay, this is a great experience in the Army. I'll never forget that. I was at Fort Knox, Delta 146 Infantry. I was in my little pickle suit, or the green. You won't even know this uniform. It's an old uniform. But it was a great experience. But I will tell you, it was then that I saw what I believe what triggered me to continue to serve in our nation. I saw those non-commissioned officers. I saw those drill sergeants. I saw all of those men and women who were there to invest in me. And I thought, okay, I'm all in. And many of them were Vietnam vets, my command sergeant major, my battalion commander. Many of them were on the backside of their careers as Vietnam vets. And I had a great experience there. It was 32, 33 days. And then from there, I decided to return to New Mexico, finished there. I was graduated as the, Corps of Cadets deputy commander, so the number 2. I was 20 years old when I was commissioned, and then went off to Fort Benning, wanted to branch infantry. So I went off to OBC, so I gave up a semester, and then returned to Wisconsin, joined the Wisconsin National Guard, and enrolled in Cardinal Stritch College, which was a college about 3 miles from where I grew up. And I finished there, but they didn't have an ROTC program. So I drove to Madison, Wisconsin, and from there I applied to for a regular Army commission and active duty. So this is I'm here to tell you this. This has not been easy, and I will share with you. If you put your mind to it and this is something you want, you will get it. And that's what I did. I applied and never thought I would make the cut, but I made the cut for a regular Army infantry. I got my first branch, and then I came right on active duty. First duty assignment was Fort Benning Ranger School. So I showed up on active duty since I already gone to OBC, and they promoted me to first lieutenant there. So it was crazy. But I've had the opportunity to serve in so many assignments throughout my career, and that's where it really started to take off. Didn't know where my career would take me, but 24th Infantry Division, Fort Stewart, Georgia, they're not here anymore, but I was, Bradley platoon leader, and I loved it. Loved my tour. I've done a multitude of assignments. Mech, airborne, 6 years and almost 7 years in the 82nd. Served in the Old Guard, Arlington National Cemetery. I was there as a young second-time company commander. And I will tell you, let me back up. The men and women I served with to my left and right are some friends that I have to this very day. Captains with me in the 82nd at the time, the G3 I think was this Lieutenant Colonel at the time, Austin. Who is Austin now? Secretary of Defense. General Helmick, well, then Lieutenant Colonel Helmick followed him, and I worked for him up at Division. So relationships matter. The fellow captains I was with, most of them are, general officers with me as well. Matt McFarland. We were all captains together just trying to figure out whether or not we were going to make the cut for company command. So that is, something I want to share with you. Commanded Alpha Company, 1st of 325, airborne infantry company, and my battalion commander was this wonderful leader named Lieutenant Colonel at the time, Dan Allen. So I've been blessed to serve with some wonderful men and women. Departed there, I was the aide to General McNeil for 18 months, General Vines and General McNeil. I never thought that I would be in a position where I just wanted to do my job, that others would start to invest in me. And I want to share that with you because I'm here investing in each and every one of you. I think the world of you. I love you all. This is our future, and that's why I'm here. But went from there to Arlington National Cemetery. I was Delta Company commander of the Old Guard, and then I was also there when 9/11 occurred. So I was in the Arlington National Cemetery conducting a full honors funeral when the flight struck the Pentagon. So we put up our uniforms, we put back on our BDUs, and we went down to help where we could. The entire regiment, and we were down there for about 3 weeks. You probably see some iconic photos of the flag being draped over the Pentagon that day. If you look down below it, you'll see a bunch of people. I was one of those folks standing there in my white Tyvek suit. And we were there to go in and do whatever recovery ops we could. No one ever trained us for that. We just did it. And that was some of my journey. From there, off to the Pentagon, I was an OSD intern, and then CGSC, pinned on major, and then to the 101st. Spent 7 years in the 101st. In between then, Battalion S3, XO, all of the key jobs. And I came back to the Pentagon, and I was the aide to the vice chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff. Now, I was like, who is? They said, this, you're going to interview for this aide job. And I said, well, who? They said, Admiral Giambastiani. I said, well, who is that? Because that's an admiral. That's Navy. I'm an Army guy. So I decided, okay, let's try it out. And, of course, he hired me, and I had a wonderful opportunity. Did that, and then from there, battalion command, and back in the 101st, took them to Afghanistan, 2010, 2011, National War College, and then director of the Army Wounded Warrior Program. In Afghanistan, was in Kandahar during a really tough time for our battalion, for the brigade. I was on the ground with our men and women, and it was a crazy, crazy day, June 10th, or June 13th, 2010, coming back from one combat patrol with Alpha Company, going to spend some time with Delta Company, when my vehicle was struck by an IED and a complex attack. So it was a very tough day. Lost my vehicle, my gunner, my driver, myself. Many of us were wounded. We were evac'd. And then what I always remember is the men and women of our great Army, in some of the toughest and craziest time, put themselves at risk to come and help me, and they did. And doing so, 3 other soldiers were wounded. So it really changed my life, and why I decided I'm all in, because this is what it's all about, the men and women. So, I have done many things. Returned to Fort Myer, Virginia, to command the Old Guard, and then from there, the career just began to keep rolling. Served out in Korea as an XO to the USFK General Brooks. It was a wonderful experience, 2016 to 17. then my time as a general officer began. 25th Infantry Division, went down to Fort Bliss. I was part of this new Army Futures Command, Joint Modernization Command. We did all the experimentation. So I've done a lot of the things that you're going to operate in the future if you choose to serve in the military. Hypersonics, electronic warfare, next generation squad weapon, squad rifle, all of the systems that are going to make you more powerful and more lethal on the future battlefield. And trust me, we have some wonderful things that we're working on right now to make sure that our men and women have everything they need to dominate on the future battlefield. So there is so much that I wanted to share with you. Like I said, I have been all over Egypt, Haiti, Iraq, Afghanistan, Korea. I can go on and on. But what I love the most is I love working with the men and women to my left and right, thousands of them throughout my military career. And I've told you, I've worked with some wonderful leaders. I was also an aide for the third time for then the Vice Chief of Staff for the Army, then General Lloyd Austin. He's, again, the Secretary of Defense. Never thought have the opportunity to serve alongside him and be his aide. But let me give you some advice. Okay, so I've shared my journey, but let me share with you what I think is important and what I've learned throughout my 30-plus years of military service. And this can be, even if you're not in the military, you can take this into your life, even as a civilian, because it's all about leadership. It's all about leadership. So first thing I would tell you to do, be positive. Be positive. We don't need knuckleheads out there who want to be the smartest person in the room, strongest person in the room. That's great, but just be positive, because everyone around you, whether you're in a civilian suit or in a uniform, those around you are always going to look to you, okay? And so you have to be positive. Love whatever organization you're in, okay? Love it. Because as you learn and mature, and whatever job you're in, just embrace it. Do your best at it, and then go on to do other great things. But always know that your teammates to your left and right, they see this positive energy. They see that you are all in, and they will join you, and it will be a wonderful climate and organization. Third thing, invest in your peers, invest in those that work for you. Invest in them. Show them that you care. All right? Show them that, hey, I'm here to help you succeed. I'm not here to use you for my own personal gain. I'm here to help you succeed. And that's why I'm here. I'm investing in you, because I think it's so important. I would also ask you to be humble. As you rise in stature as a civilian, you may go on to be a CEO, you may go on in the Army to be a general officer. I would just tell you, be humble. Remind yourself where you came from, all right? Never take that for granted, because it will certainly slow you down if you're not humble and the hubris sets in. You're going to find yourself going backwards in life. So I just want to share that with you. And then finally, and just a couple things. Finally, the strength of any organization, whether it's Georgia Military College or any other organization, is its people. All right? Every one of you matters. All right? Treat each other, to the person to your left and right, always with dignity and respect. Because as you continue on in your journey, in this very room, there will be those that go on to become CEOs, those that go on to become, senior leaders in our military. And you'll still remember your time here. As a cadet at New Mexico Military Institute, I had a bunch of friends, but 3 of them who are still in to this day. Major General Dusty Schultz was my classmate. She's now the DCG Army Reserve. And then Martinez, good friend of mine, he is the Deputy Adjutant General for New Mexico. We were all cadets, and we're still friends to this day, in addition to everyone else that I served with, and those who have gone on to become big-time business leaders, and we all have stayed in touch. One such example, and I'm going to take you back and just show this story because it really touched me last week when I was in Louisville. I want to tell you a little story about this particular individual, because everyone matters. Everyone matters. So this one is story is on Charles Young. Anybody familiar with Charles Young? Well, I'll just provide you some input. He was born a long time ago, okay? I think in 1864. But even just think about Charles Young, okay? He was born to enslaved parents, then went on to be the 3rd African-American to graduate from United States Military Academy, first African-American to achieve the rank of colonel in the United States Army, and he was with then General Pershing when they went into Mexico. First African-American National Park Superintendent, first military attaché to Haiti and Dominican Republic, and last week, based on the family and requests from many, especially those that are descendants from all those he served with, they requested that he be promoted. And last week in Louisville, I was there for that promotion for his great-great-grandkids who were present. But why do I share this with you? Because think of who he was at the time of this great nation. And then we recognized him last week. And guess who invested in him over 120 years ago? General Pershing. Despite whatever's going on, they invested in him. And so we promoted him. His work ethic, leadership, and devotion to duty is an example for many of us to follow today. And please, if you get a chance, you got to Google him and check out his story. But it was so wonderful. So I just want to say to each and every one of you, it is a pleasure to be here this morning. I get a chance to go around to a lot of different schools, but I'm so excited to be here today and share this moment with you. So you know what? Let me stop right there, and let me open it up for any questions that you may have. Okay.
Morning, sir.
Morning.
My name is Cadet Hall. I'm a state service ECP cadet, history major, and I'm from Luthersville, Georgia. I was wondering, so as commander of Cadet Command, what's one thing you like about Cadet Command, or like to sustain, and what's one thing you would improve, sir?
Well, one thing I love about it is I just didn't understand the scale of what this wonderful command. So last time I was in Cadet Command, I was a cadet, and so when I took over, I just didn't know that, of course, like Georgia Military College, that's just one of 275 other host programs. 275 other programs led by wonderful leaders like Russ across the nation. I'm also responsible for all of the JROTC in the nation. 1,780 programs, 250,000 cadets across the nation. I was like, whoa, this is a lot to wrap my arms around. But I certainly loved every day about that. What I didn't like is I can't see everybody and I can't visit because it would just consume all of the time I have. I like to get out and see many of our men and women and I do this as often as I can, but I'm also the commander for Fort Knox. So that takes a lot of my time, and I just didn't understand that I had to balance my duties as Cadet Command and the Fort Knox Senior Commander. With, there's 9 other GO commands there, 5th Corps, HRC, 1st TSC, Recruiting Command. I can go on. And they are all my neighbors. But that is the downside, but I just have to balance. But I do love to get out to have the opportunities to speak with you. Thanks, sir. Yeah, thanks. Right there. And I'll come back to you.
Hello. Oh, okay. Hello, sir. My name is Lemmy Thomas. I'm a civic leader from Covington, Georgia. How can you stay positive if you feel like you're like in a negative environment?
So you're going to. That's a great question. You're not going. Not every day is going to be great, but it's going to be good, and you're going to have some, potential episodes when you enter into something that may not be the best environment, and that's a great question because I want to share this with you. I've served in so many places, and there was, I've had, even me, yes, have worked in environments that some would consider counterproductive, negative, but that's why you're here. Because it takes just one to turn anything around. And that's the leadership I'm looking for and investing in you, because we can get better each and every day. We're really good, but we can get better. And it's when you see something like that, you don't let it go in one ear and out the other. You don't turn away from it. You say, you stop it, and you turn the situation around. And you better the organization, because guess what? That's your organization. Wherever organization I'm in, that's my organization now. And I wanted to make it the best that I can. And you're going to have some, great days, and you're going to have some good days. But I just wanted to share that with you. Don't jump into the pool of negativity. Let that go. Because that's not going to allow us to get better and grow and being here, investing in you to share that. Hey, I have gone through some of those, and I'm sure, President Caldwell and many of the other leaders who have served will share some of the same stories with you. But they did not get to where they are from jumping in that pool. You turn it around, and you invest in an organization to help make it better. I got my hands into a bunch of different things because I want to help get after the chiefs and the secretaries focus on Army People Strategy, positive climate, and everything associated with that. And that, I think that's so very important. But that's a very good question. I think you have one, yeah.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
My name is Cadet Reimer. I'm an ECP cadet here from Fayetteville, Georgia. My question is, I saw that you graduated with your master's degree in national security and strategic strategies.
Yeah.
As of this morning, Kiev, the capital of Poland, was under attack with missiles, air raids, and they had troops being loaded in tanks from Russia. Mm-hmm. What perspective would you give cadets right now as a general as we're looking at this?
I would tell each and every one of you, and again, I'm a National War College grad, and we focused a lot on the geopolitical. But what I will tell you is this: we are in a volatile world, and not everyone sees it the same as the country to your left and right. And never take that for granted. Your viewpoints differ from others, and you have to be very cognizant. In my small class, just to give you an idea at National War College, I've been an Army guy, and I see things with, through the Army glasses. But what I learned as a student at National was I was the only Army guy in my class. To the left of me were, GS-15s from the State Department, or SESs, or soon to be ambassadors, or others, the Department of Energy, Navy, Marines. And guess what? We all saw things differently. We saw things through the eyes of our respective services. So I will tell you, we are in a very, for all of you, the world we live in is more volatile than it was, 20, 30 years ago. And you are going to have to be able to understand that and then provide advice, both strategic and operational, if you go on to serve, to help inform decisions of future leaders. Or you may be the ones making these decisions as to what we can do to affect, what's going on in the world. Now, what I love about it is that we are led by our civilian leadership, and I think that civ-mil relationship is so very important. We follow our civilian leadership, and when you're in the service, that's first and foremost, and so very true. But when provided the guidance and authorities from that civilian leadership, then we go out and execute. Now, if you're in a civilian, you're going to get that guidance probably from your president and CEO of the company. The same thing is there. You may not agree with it. You may not think it's conducive or congruent with the current organizational environment, but that's what you move out on. So this world is a very volatile place, but I think we're in good hands because I see the future leadership of our nation right in front of me. So, and we'll get through this. We always will.
Good morning, sir. Cadet Eddie Wilson from Fayetteville, Georgia. State Service and ECP Cadet.
Yeah.
My question to you is...
I did PT with him this morning. That was beast mode.
I heard you mention that you were hired by an admiral, and so I was wondering, what did you learn from the admiral, and then how did you tie it in with you and your leadership to become successful?
Yeah, so I had a great experience with Admiral Jim Bastiani. We're still, in communication and friends to this day. He brought, what I learned from him was his viewpoint. Again, now he's the vice chairman now, so he's thinking not just one service, he's thinking all services. What I loved about him is he was able to look at the viewpoints of all different services, but come up with a single recommendation for the chairman or the Secretary of Defense to help move the services forward. And it not always was in agreement with his own service. That's what I really loved about him. I thought, wow, he's the Navy, but he sees things for this particular decision that's not the position of the Navy. And he carried through, and he was very strong in that conviction. So, understand the viewpoints of many, and not to always stay focused in, your foxhole. If you're in the Army, think bigger. Think second and third order effects, and that's what I also loved about him. He always thought about what is the second and third order effect of this particular decision, and he wasn't thinking about what good is it for me in the service. He thought, what is the best decision for all services? So I thought that was very, and he was very humble in that regard. So really liked his approach, and I think even President Caldwell, I think, served with him as well when he was there at the Pentagon. So I think that's a good question.
Sir, this will be our final question.
Okay.
Good morning, sir. My name is Cadet Adams. I'm from Lumber City, Georgia, and I am a State Service Cadet. My question to you is, how did you take what you learned from others to develop your own leadership style?
Yeah. So that's a great point. And this takes time because, you know, my first duty station, it was, I think, the power of my very first, battalion commander. I expected, battalion commander to be some person I would see probably once every 2 months. Yeah, I had this perception of what I thought senior leaders were, and that was not the case. I think my first day there as a new lieutenant, he brought me in his office, and I think I was there for like an hour and a half, and I was writing my little green book. And I walked away thinking, wow, I should really question my perceptions of different leaders. Now, as I went on in my military career, I've had those that continue to, be open, positive, and invest, and then others I've had that were, it was harder to interact, but that's really based on a person's interpersonal skills. Some are, outgoing, some are more reserved. But I learned that throughout my years. Not everyone is going to be like you. So you have to understand that, and then you have to know, based off of that audience, your interaction with that particular leader. So I learned how to, depending on the audience, whether they are more outgoing, more reserved, more they're quiet, maybe they want you to write more, maybe they want to talk more, maybe they want to go on the telephone, maybe they want to be via email. But I learned these things over my career. So I would tell you, keep an open mind because anything changes depending on your environment. So not everything is going to be the same all the time. So I share that with you because every, and I've moved 20 plus times, every situation has been so very, very different. I think you guys got to go to class, huh?
Hey, sir, absolutely fired up. Let's give a hand to our senior leader. Sir, again, thank you for your words of wisdom. And I'd like to take the opportunity to recognize some fantastic leaders. Sir, it's my absolute pleasure to introduce some outstanding leaders of the Old Capitol Guard Battalion. These cadets lead by example and represent the best of GMC's ROTC program. The following cadets, please come up to the center of the stage. First, we have our ROTC Battalion Commander, Dylan Grant. Next, we have our top in the Order of Merit list, the #1 cadet for the program, James Larman. Then, very important, our top GPA, Benny Cook. Benny Cook, come on up. And now, for the hardest people in the ROTC battalion, the top female physical fitness score, Angel Badu. Come on up. Our cadet sergeant major and top physical fitness performer for males, Eddie Wilson. And finally, I just want to recognize an outstanding young leader who's going to lead this program forward to the future. We have Grace Gooden. Come on up.
Huh?
Start on this end and work across.
Yeah.
And I'll feed them to you.
Okay.
Sir, again, these are the top of our program. We're so proud to have them, and thank you for recognizing them today.
Well, thanks. And I'm going to present each one with the coveted U.S. Army Cadet Command coin. And really, I'm proud of each and every one of you. And again, this is why I love to serve and why I'm here today. So with that, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
It's great doing PT with you this morning. It's great. Congratulations. Grant, congratulations. How you doing? Coach? How you doing? Congratulations. Let's give him a round of applause.
All right, team. Thank you. I just want to take the opportunity to thank the Corps of Cadets, our leadership here at GMC. Thanks for coming out and listening to our senior leader. And finally, this concludes the LES for today. Character above all, leadership excellence. Thanks.
Have a great day. Thanks.